their own game that's going to be able to help them settle. But ViCi Gaming, you know, someone predicted it was going to be a 3-0. I actually think it could be. Like, I think they are that good, ViCi Gaming, and taking that first win is going to be big. And, wow, NewBee are going to reply to the Nature's Prophet of Sylar, as we've normally see it, with an Alchemist and Ancient Apparition.
I really like the fact that they go for two heroes that actually lost the game in 15 minutes. You would be like, I don't want to play the Alchemist in the AA again, but they understood it was a bad performance more than a bad draft.
It shows confidence.
Yeah, that's really good. It's really good to see that if you're a NewBee fan, then you're like, okay, it was a bad game. Let's get, you know, to the second game.
I agree with you totally, because sometimes you get scared to do the same thing again when you just mess something up. But as we said, I think the aggressive tri-lane hurt them more than the draft did at all. And I was not sure about the Alchemist, but as I said, if they then wouldn't go defensive and just get the levels, get some possibilities to start fighting with the ulti and stuff like this, they could probably have pressured a lot with the Alchemist.
Yeah, I did not understand the Alchemist neither, but we didn't get to see really what plan they had in mind since they got destroyed and he couldn't do anything in that game. So
yes,
going with the same opener reminds me of yesterday's game 2 and game 3 of EG versus ViCi. They picked like the exact same thing. And
definitely,
ViCi knew exactly what they did wrong, and they just corrected like 1 or 2 heroes. They swapped out a Shadow Demon for a Vengeful, and then they just destroyed them.
Yeah, and our OTK is not going to have that clockwork this time. It's going to be a... well, actually, never mind. He could still have his clockwork.
If he wants to, yeah.
If he wants to, yeah. Yeah, I'm just so used to seeing Nature's Prophet offlane that I'm like, no, but this is a Sylar hero. Alchemy is an Ancient Apparition creating so much. If you think about that last game, they didn't do too well, but if you think of the potential of these two heroes, if Alchemist Moon, the Alchemist, can get a little bit of farm, then maybe can get a quick neck going and just start helping in the team fights. This hero is so durable that he will enforce team fights around him, and the Ancient Apparition just staying behind, and Ice Blade can turn everything around. So NewBee finding a good start, but ViCi Gaming is going to reply with a Viper.
Yeah, every hero that they play mid is always some durable hero that is great for team fighting though. I mean, Brewmaster did the same thing with his ulti as we saw in last game, and it's just a matter of how you want to approach it. I think Alchemist is better for sieging and taking a slow fight, where Brewmaster, he starts the fight, causes a lot of rockets just diving in, and Viper with Furion here is already shaping up to be a pretty methodical push from ViCi, but we'll see. They're always overrunning their opponents though.
I mean, every time we saw Nature's Prophet first picked from ViCi on the Radiant side, it's a push lineup. And we've seen like ROTK, he adapted, I would say, a little bit in terms of his hero pool, and actually ended up picking stuff up like Venomancer to actually help out with the push. So it'll be interesting to see if NewBee are going to be expecting that to be their whole draft. How do you think Viper fits in here, Ben, and what do you think NewBee are concerned about?
They're just concentrating on winning the lanes, just like last game. Brewmaster destroyed the Alchemist. Viper, if they want to match up versus Alchemist again, will have a very easy time. Can farm in very early mech too, and that's really important for both teams to actually have a mech carrier.
Alchemist won't be able to do anything about that. And now they're taking the Brewmaster themselves, and this poses a question. NewBee might want to run a support Alchemist. And now a support Alchemist and an Ancient Apparition is a roaming duo that can create more than what they had before, which was a Lion and an Ancient Apparition.
Yeah, Alchemist and AA are old ganking friends. Those two heroes worked pretty well together, but I'm more expecting to see him be either mid or carry position, to be honest, because Brewmaster, he can be mid, he can be offlane. We could even see a farming Brewmaster, but I really don't like that unless you have a very specific plan about a key timing for the blink. But I think you might need some early farm with this Brewmaster, because going up against the Viper and Furion, if you wait just a little bit too long, all the towers start rolling, and we will see something similar to what we saw in Cloud9's game when they played against the push strat of Navi, that if you let one tower go, you will let all of them go pretty much when you face something like that.
Well, they were definitely concerned about the push NewBee, and they banned out the Shadow Shaman that wasn't actually banned out in the first phase, and then they took away the Pugner. So ViCi Gaming going to show more of their cards, but it's just going to be this Skywrath mage that they pick up. You know, huge killing potential, and focus is, you know, the Brewmaster as well as the Owl.
If that's not an Alchemist support, then I would really love to see a Shadow Demon for NewBee. What they need right now is something to actually save the Brewmaster from the Skywrath silence. It's also great synergy with the Alchemist. Shadow Demon Alchemist was really used before. I think it's a really good pick for them right now.
5 seconds
right now,
remaining.
like ViCi Gaming, they have only one spell to counter the Brewmaster, and that's a support spell, which means he's probably not going to get it off all the time. I mean, he's going to need perfect positioning for that. NewBee has a really good draft at dealing with what ViCi Gaming does, whereas ViCi Gaming, they will not be able to farm, versus NewBee, they won't be able to gank. it's an all-in.
I think
so
the
far for
Viper
ViCi
will
gaming.
be able to farm.
Yeah, but not as fast maybe as an Alchemist, or what I mean is that they don't want to go for the late game.
I see, yeah, I see what you mean.
I don't think they want to. With the Viper, Skyra, those heroes, they farm kind of slowly.
I like the Skyrat pick though. It kind of shores up what they lacked before. They lacked any sort of disable, and they lacked a lot of burst. You need one or the other to deal with Alchemist and Brewmaster.
Picking Weaver into the Skyrath, that's surprising to me, but they're still going for it.
It is.
Because Skyrath is one of the best supports against Weaver. Very easy to come around the corner and just silence him instantly with a slow. But I agree with you, the Shadow Demon could be really nice here. It also works really well against the Skyrath. So that's if they don't run an Alchemist support, of course.
How fast can the Alchemist get online if it's in a carry role with Greevil's Breed?
Well,
Does it help,
like
or?
you don't really go for Greevil's Breed even if you play carry Alchemist, to be honest. You still want to max out the acid spray and the unstable concoction, because else it takes too long and teams know how to abuse
5
that.
seconds remaining.
Well, the ViCi Gaming have changed direction a little bit and going for some more team fight here. So not exactly the
Reserve
towers will be
time.
falling with the Sand King and Skyrim Mage on the push, but we'll have to see what that last pick is. But the Sand King is definitely going to help.
I think that's respect towards the Brewmaster lineup. I mean, if you want to push against the lineup with Brewmaster, you need to know that you're stronger as well. You can't just have the damage towards the tower. That's not enough. So I like the combination from Sand King and Skyrath. You can burst one hero really fast. And again, the Shadow Demon support looks beautiful if you want to run a core position Alchemist. But then they already picked up the Weaver as well. So we'll see how NewBee want to throw their lanes, to be honest.
I think that right now NewBee really has the upper hand because they can do whatever. They can just, you know, go for full team fight if they're gonna clash with ViCi. ViCi decides to push tower, that's for sure. They have a great team fighting potential. Getting the Weaver versus Skyrath isn't necessarily good, but it's, you know, one of those games where they got the Doom versus something that actually very, very scared by the Doom, and then you get whatever you want because you know that, I mean, Skyrath has to silence the Brewmaster, right? So Weaver's going to be able to do whatever. So that's a really good Weaver game, actually. It could be a really good whatever, you know. It's a really good approach to how when they get one single counter like this, you can get whatever and get away with it.
That's true. And also Viper and Furion don't
5
really do that
seconds
much against the Weaver, so
they do
split
not.
pushing is pretty easy as long as the Sand King is somewhere on the map. If you don't see him and you don't see Skyrath, of course Weaver is going to play safe. But with us already calling that ViCi is probably going to go 5-man a lot, Weaver will have a lot of time to just split push.
And the Earthshaker is the last pick, but I
That's actually, that might be an Alchemist
yeah.
carry, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it is.
it should be.
A and Earthshaker are also a really good combination for roaming, and also creates this kind of threat that, okay, you can jump on the Brewmaster, you can jump on our Weaver, but as long as we have the Earthshaker behind us, we have control of the team fight. And I think the Venomancer ban from NewBee is really smart, because ViCi Gaming, if there's something they have, it's this constant threat of the Sand King jumping on you, the Skyrath Mage catching
10
you,
seconds
the Viper
remaining.
just being in the front line. And if they had gotten a Venomancer, they could have just slow siege all the
5
towers just by
seconds
popping
remaining.
wards. And it's a really clever ban from NewBee. But ViCi Gaming, they're going all in and they're going with the Morphling.
I really don't like the Shaker pixel, and it's a Chao 8 Shaker, so that's going to be really interesting, so never mind it. What I mean, they're going to have really weak solos, maybe not the Brewmaster, but if they wanted...
Oh wow, it is
Chao 8 or Shaker.
Chao 8 Shaker.
That's really surprising. So it's an Alchemist support and an AA support. They're going to be looking to roam quite a lot. They have to help that Shaker somehow, because he's not going to get anything.
LDD ran this a lot with Yao and the off-lane Earthshaker. It actually turned out surprisingly well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, NewBee look like they're going into game 2 with a plan. We'll see how it works out for them. They're going to want to win this one. The record that they have against each other so far on the main event is actually 2 games apiece. But of course, in the grand finals, ViCi are 1 game
10
up.
seconds
Can NewBee
remaining.
bring it back all tied? Well, we'll find out. Players have picked their heroes and they'll be loading in. So let's get
5
to our
seconds
commentators
remaining.
for match number 2.
Thank you very much, everybody. We're back here, game number 2. It is getting underway. I'm TI4, joined by Luminous, and again we go through the entire best of 5 grand final. And so far, man, it's been a very impressive display from
Prepare
ViCi
for
Gaming.
battle.
But we're into game number 2. It's a whole new kettle of fish, and it looks like we're looking at a different style of draft. We're looking at a lot more drawn-out team fights in this game, where it's not just melting down towers and pushing for victory.
It looks like Xiao A and the rest of NewBee just pulled a fast one on everybody. It's going to be a swap back. Xiao A on the Alchemist. It's going to be boots first. Here we go. The lines are being drawn.
They know what they want. These lineups from both VG as well as NewBee, they're designed to kill. That's what these lineups are meant to do. ViCi Gaming do it through a high level of control. That's where the Skywrath Major really comes in with his silence, and that's the reason why they also picked up that Sand King. Fenrir's going to be looking for those double to triple stuns on the burrow strikes and really making big problems for NewBee, and especially having that epicenter down. Heroes like Earthshaker who have to run into the middle of the fight, get their stuff off and then get back out again, having that slow as well as high amount of damage, it may just force out a premature echo or premature fissure when you're not really wanting to do it. And heroes like Ancient Apparition, if they get caught in the front lines, which they will when the Blink Dagger comes up for an SK, you're going to find the Ancient Apparition just exploding. So there's only, what, one Ice Blast, Cold Feet, and Chilling Touch, and he's basically spent for the fight.
Yeah, my concern isn't the mid game for NewBee. I think it's much so for the early game of NewBee. Last time we saw the offensive trialing fail, NewBee really never actually played Dota. I mean, they're physically in the game, they're hitting buttons and everything, but it wasn't their executed game plan. So I want to see NewBee doing what their lineup is designed to do. Early game roam into essentially mid game push. And let's see if NewBee is able to accomplish that against ViCi Gaming, who is up one game and feeling pretty good about themselves.
Well, you're going to find out soon, man. First rune got picked up, so it's going to be Xiaowei, who gets to have his Invis rune. So he'll be doing some scouting to see what he can achieve on this offlane. And Super, well, he'll be the safe lane Viper in this game. FY, the roaming man, he's looking for the first rune, and they're going to find absolutely nothing. And there's no Observer Ward for that position either. But FY, he's bringing a Sentry Ward in, and yeah, the ping's coming out to basically block up the Ancient stack. So this won't be an option for Xiaowei to just use Acid Spray and farm it up. But at the same time, that ward was watched, so they know it's been placed. So it won't be too difficult to de-ward it out, even though they are running around with a lot of melee heroes and not the range heroes.
Yeah, they probably just wait it out. It's only a 3-minute duration, and you can stack a little bit later if you want. But meanwhile, it's going to be Radiant that's going to be stacking. We actually see a Titan doing a lot of this. The early game roaming of the Sand King as well as the Skywrath Mage. You stack a little bit, and then you go for a smoke gank. Wasn't that successful for Titan, but let's see how ViCi Gaming is going to take their spin. Maybe they're actually going to go for less roaming and more laning instead.
Well, considering Fenrir doesn't have a smoke on him, we can go with that. Sylar, man doesn't want to buy bottles. He looks like he's feeling he's taking too much damage. He's actually purchased an extra set of tangos that came out in the courier before he sent his bottle out. So he's trying to get up in the face here of Mu, who is going for the straight, not a full straight bottle rush, because again we're seeing this Doubt Shield build on the mid solo, just so he can buff off a little bit of that extra damage that's coming his way. And combine that with Drunken Brawler, you have yourself a little bit more of a safer time. FY harassed on the bottom lane, not really happening. Xiaowei's managed to almost find 3 levels on this off lane as the Alchemist. You're expecting a little bit more, a little bit less from him, because FY should have been able to zone him out.
Yeah, I think as the lane progresses more and more, where Viper gets, for example, a Boots, gets a little bit more level, you could just have a Viper zoning out an Alchemist by himself, and I think Xiaowei recognized that. He's just going around, checking for runes. He knows that once he gets in the lane, he is just going to get harassed out. And that was the Shaker helping him out. The Shaker is no longer there. Shaker is now rotating up to top lane and maybe going for a kill. But I foresee that Xiaowei is going to have a much tougher time as the minutes pass.
This ward that's up on the top lane, if Sunshine tries to go up on that top lane and anyway, actually, even if Banana moves aggressively over to ROTK, it's going to get spotted out. And ROTK actually has even another ward sitting on that top.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, he's not responding. He's not responding. The ward, he had Hurting Fish. He's trying to try and TP out, but there's not enough time. First blood goes the way of NewBee.
The big punch of Shanshan will grab the first blood, and first blood on supports, that's key, man. You pick up the support, that's going to be a big deal for Earthshaker to keep on landing those fissures. Now, his fissure and his rotation to the mid lane won't be as helpful, because Sylar could always wait for him across, but I think he's going to be continuously an issue for ROTK on the top lane.
I'm really surprised ROTK didn't respond. There's this Observer Ward. They're sitting up on top of the cliff, watching across the top rune area, and this is like, why, he should have seen it coming. It's like he'll be watching the Earthshaker move in behind him right now. So ROTK again is going to get pincered up. And now he will back himself up.
Yeah, this time I think he saw it, although, yeah, he's running back.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to say that RTK and Xiaowei, they're a similar breed of captain, such that they may not be the best mechanic player themselves. For example, missing that gank coming his way. But RTK is getting double upon. The bugs are coming out. They need that fissure, but the trees are blocking him, sort of.
Yeah. It started with a semi-blocker. They just walked over and saw the Earthshaker moving. Never actually attacked him either, so he didn't actually cancel the clarity that was going on the Earthshaker as well.
Yeah, but what RTK and Xiaowei, they really bring to the team is the direction to the rest of the team. The rest of the team would not be playing nearly as well if it's not for RTK and Xiaowei, they're captains director. So sometimes you miss them, and sometimes you tell the rest what to do, you know?
Yeah. At that point, maybe you're too busy delegating. Either way, Super's getting himself some nice farm on that bottom lane. 18-12 is his CS, so really controlling this bottom lane nicely. Sylar as well in the middle lane, the highest CS on the board at 21 for 3, but Mu is right behind him at 20 for 4. And then up towards the top lane, ROTK is his Nature's Prophet, has only claimed 7 for 1. He's actually on the same CS as what Xiaowei's managed to get from the off lane. But going up against Hao, it's 21 for 4. So all the cores are looking very, very similar. I don't think anyone you could say has an advantage, even though the gold advantage is saying on the graphs is about 500 to 750. So it's negligible for 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, we're going to see how the cores are going to play differently with that lead. For example, how he's going to be going for Lincoln Sphere, which is the same item I imagine that Morphling on Sylar is going to be going for. But how they use that Lincoln Sphere is very different. We're going to likely to see Sylar mostly pushing the lanes, just ricing away. Whereas how he's going to be rotating behind support heroes and go to the kill. So personally, I like Hao's playstyle quite a bit. I think he's one of the best Weaver players in the world for that particular playstyle. But let's see if he could deliver. This is the main stage. You could do well on all the matches leading up to this. If you don't win this game, man, they're going to be down 2-0, and that's really a, I want to say, insurmountable lead.
I'm watching Fenrir as well as FY right now. They moved past the Dire Observer Ward, and very luckily they didn't use that smoke, which is currently over on the Skywrath Mage. But they're moving in very close towards the mid, and there goes the smoke. That was out of range of the Dire Observer Ward, so that this isn't known by NewBee, at least not straight away. But if they walk over towards the right, they're going to find Xiaowei. Now, Observer Wards are in the river, and Xiaowei, well, he's actually just a little bit too far away, so the smoke, it won't break just yet. And they're waiting for Xiaowei to show himself underneath the tier 1 tower. Super will just throw the Viper Strike out the second he's too close, because they know he's not level 6. And Boston is a team being in. They're fully committing in right now, and Xiaowei, they got enough damage with the Viper Strike. He's trying to get the stun off, and it won't get off enough time. Fenrir, though, underneath the tier 2 tower, he'll go down, and Mu looking to actually fight off. If he doesn't have enough mana for a split, he's too low, but Hao picking up ROTK. He got it! He just got the mana. Super's going to go down with the Earthbreathing Stone. Skywrath dies in the corner. It's a catastrophe for ViCi Gaming on the bottom lane. The Brewmaster survives barely. And Sylar, he's looking for a pick-off here with the Invis rune? He's not going to find anything. This is wasted time as well for a Morphling.
Is he coming to solo kill Shanshan? He's way too tanky for that.
Yep.
Yeah, Sylar just essentially wasted about 45 seconds running between mid and the bottom. But that Brewmaster made a huge mistake. He teleported, clapped, and then was like, wait, I don't have any mana. And then he just slowly regen his way up. Too close for comfort, but hey man, it worked out just fine. And like I said, it's the Weaver that teleports in and starts to rotate. You can see how it's now skidding his way back up. But, you know, it's Banana that's getting a little bit of experience as a result. Last game, he did not even find level 6 15 minutes in the game. This one, he's going to find it 7 minutes in the game. That's going to be a big change of how NewBee decides to play this mid-game.
Yeah, this basically allows NewBee to be very aggressive. When Mu picks up the Blink Dagger as well, they got so much going their way. And Hao can be over-aggressive as well with his Shikuchi, because he's got his level 6, so Time Lapse is already available as well. So NewBee have so many different things to keep them alive during the team fights if the initial combination of VG Gaming doesn't work. And VG Gaming always knew this was going to be a problem. Maybe the reason why we might be looking at RTK. Be careful here. Fidget, clap, AA ulti. He'll wait for himself away, but he's very low in life and shatters the Ancient Apparition. Very simple combo, but perfectly executed from NewBee.
Look at how effective it is. Once Ancient Apparition turns that level 6, you begin the kind of early game sniping, and that's only going to get better once Mu picks up that Blink Dagger, which is very close to, oh, Fenrir, he's taking a ton of the fissure.
Sunshine doesn't have mana for it right now. He was also doing a bit of dewarding, so we just see the Sand King walk himself out. But that's a big Ancient stack as well for Xiaowei. By the looks of it, that's actually a quad stack he's managed to achieve here. At the same time, if you're looking towards the Radiant jungle, there's also some double stacks in here. So, a lot to play with. And Sunshine, well, is he going to help out? Hello, Mu. Also running away from the Morphling replicate. And Fenrir trying to chase him down. But look at Fenrir's gold. Like I was talking about Blink Daggers for initiations from VG Gaming, catching out heroes like Ancient Apparition. This SK, he needs to go to his own jungle and start to farm up because he doesn't have Arcane Boots and he's nowhere near his Blink Dagger.
Yeah, I think he's going to skip Arcane. That's generally the standard thing to do. He does have a couple of healthy stacks like you mentioned earlier, but he needs to clear them out. He needs to reach level 6, level 7. And more importantly, needs to find that Blink because a lot of the team's initiation really comes through him. If he doesn't get an early Blink, how does ViCi actually take a fight? They really can't, at least not with a lot of confidence. So we'll see if Sand King is going to get it anytime soon. Looks like he's going to go for yet another stack. And imagine this is where he starts sandstorming away.
ROTK's got a lot of money up in this top lane, which he's refusing to spend. I got a funny feeling he's also worried about having to go like recovery minus catch up to, well, the rest of NewBee, because they are stretching themselves in front. But I'm very, very concerned if he goes down this line, that NewBee will be able to hit him before he's able to hit them back. Especially with the 2,300 gold on the Brewmaster. Yeah, you know it's a Blink Dagger he's picking up from that side shop. With the AA Ultimate also available, How having Treads as well as Ring of Aquila and full Magic Wand. This tier 1 tower is actually dead in the top lane. ViCi Gaming can throw a Wrath of Nature, but it's not going to stop the push.
Coming in mid, that's going to be on top of FY. Okay.
It connects, but they need more damage. This isn't enough to kill off FY.
Yeah, he's going to have to go back home, which, you know, around stuff. Meanwhile, they're going to do a little bit of pushing up top here. And NewBee does have the Ring of Aquila, giving the creep wave +2 armor, slowly whittling this tower away.
It's a bit of a trade, but the TP support coming to bottom lane is move. Actually with a haste through a collapse in, goes straight for the split, looking at Silent now. He's took a replicate he can jump down to. Super, being stunned up by Xiaowei and targeted by the Brewmaster. While, well, Nature's Prophet, he arrived, he goes up and towards the edge. Xiaowei hits the Yogi, he does finally go down. Viper with enough damage, and maybe he can escape off the mech charge. No, it won't be enough. Weaver, last attack able to connect, and again ROTK spinning himself up and towards the air. They himself, it actually came from Lu, Clamp Shikuchi, as well as an extra little bit of damage from a hit from Sunshine. And they will take a 2-for-1 trade on that bottom lane and hold the tier 1 tower at 86 life points.
Yeah, a great amount of kills going towards NewBee, being able to do a lot. And unfortunately, ViCi could just only sit on sideline and watch. Looks like we can see a concussive shot going to top, but nothing really comes of it. The key thing to point out right now is that Sand King, he's in the jungle. He's doing his do-do-do, and he's going really up to 2150 very, very soon. Once he has it, I think that's where ViCi decides to start making TPs, start making some fights happening their way. But right now, they kind of just have to take it on the chin, man.
Yeah, well, they do. It's acceptable casualties at this point because you realize if you try and fight earlier on than this, you're just going to give away even more. So you just try and get the best things you can and then look for a timing attack. So Fenrir's got to be ready to go once he's got all of this up and running. And I'm wondering if NewBee should try and find some extra advantage at this point. Like how? Okay, this is a little bit of a nuisance.
Stealing experience, stealing gold, 1 more hit. Got it.
He got one of them. He got one of the small Hellbears. But Sand King still takes out the large portion of the money for it. And that's what he's searching for. Experience is one thing, but the money is the rest of it. Now, stop
I think he's asking for Ice Blast. Yeah, the Ice Blast is going to come. It's going to come through the tier 1 tower, and Finra is going to be out of there. I don't think this is going to work the way they... Yeah.
Finra's already back out to safety. If they walk through the tree line, then maybe they could have been caught out just then, but not going to happen. And Sunshine leaves a nice aggressive Observer Ward behind. But with the smoke movement coming out from NewBee, now look towards the bottom lane, but Super knows. Hides in the tree lines, realize everyone from ViCi Gaming is currently missing, apart from that top lane Banana. And even then, they don't care about him because they know he's an Ice Blast from the opposite side of the map, which is a really big radius. Super. Wow, you're up a long way here, man. The Xiaowei looking for the extra stun. The Viper Strike going out here from Super too. It's a large amount of damage into Xiaowei. ROTK looking for extra damage, but there goes your mech. Super is not enough. He cannot bring down Xiaowei. Would lose his own life. And it's a 4-man gang squad coming out there from NewBee.
Yep. Meanwhile, it looks like ViCi Gaming is going to reply by pushing a little bit of tier 1. Don't think they would bring it down though. How comes in? He's got to be careful of that Burrow Strike. Blink Dagger is picked up. They could actually straight up kill him with FY's burst and silence. Yep. Here we go. Initiation. Ancient Steel's going to be following up, and how he is straight up. Oh, okay. Vision was good. They're not going to follow up. Here comes the split. They're going to get Finrar. The Sandstorm's going to keep him in place a little bit. Shang's coming in. Burrow Strike. It looks like Finrar is going to be fine. He's going to be able to blink away. Meanwhile, the Silent not having as good of a luck. He is bursted down. No way for him.
Man, Sunset came in and he was just able to get enough mana to get that stomp off. And by doing so, it was able to bring the SK back out of the Sandstorm because Sandstorm, SK was able to keep the Invis walk out.
Teleportation against Banana, trying to TP out, no so much damage. Too much damage.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Especially with ROTK throwing out the ultimate. Actually taking a bit of a risk with that ultimate as well. He threw that in the bottom lane to get to bounce all the way up towards the top to get the bonus damage. Because that means there's a lot more travel time for it.
Radiant's bottom tower
but they're trying to capitalize on this kill. Push in towards the tier 1 tower. I know we said at the very start of the draft that this lineup isn't really designed to force down towers, but it's an Nature's Prophet. He's going to get it anyway. Super. They're trying to find hero on Howard. There's 3 teams coming up. Super just wasted out the tower. Actually got denied up by Howard as well. And the smooth well, he's sealed up. There is no ultimate. Echo's left. ROTK goes down for the big ultimate. The missing flare from FY and the Burrow Strike from Fenrir. Follows up with the epicenter. Time lapse already used by Howard. The Ice Blast coming in. Turns into the collapse. FY's going to He can't do anything for his team. Super looking for a kill on Hal. Now Moo jumps back in again. He doesn't have neck available. Super will go down, taking a while to kill him off. But they do kill him nonetheless.
A lot of these trades really going in the way of NewBee. The score is 5-13 right now, and this is the NewBee game plan. Get a little bit of hurt in the early game laning stage, and then have your cores to join the fight. Look at how active Hal is. Look at how active Xiao 8's going to be.
Radiant's
And of course, the
top
supports are
tower is
playing
under
extremely well.
attack.
Tier 1 is going to get
Radiant's
destroyed,
top tower
so
has
they're
fallen.
even on that front. I think NewBee's shown what they can do in this game too.
Yeah, they're even as far as that trade-off goes, but you still got to
Radiant's
remember,
top
NewBee is starting to
tower
lose
is
a little bit of
under
map control here. All their tier 1 towers have gone down. Be it denied or not, that's still giving more space for a Nature's Prophet to make that kind of space. And ROTK is going for the build I hope he was going to go for, and that's the Orca build coming out here from Nature's Prophet. He needs that bonus silence. He can't rely on the Skywrath Mage to do all the heavy lifting for the team. As you saw before in the last fight, he threw out the Mystic Flare and he could seal up the Brewmaster, but the funny thing is Brewmaster couldn't split anyway because he didn't have the mana for it. A bit of a problem when you got a Brewmaster running around with strength treads.
Yeah, I think having the tier 1 towers down, like you mentioned, for NewBee is a big play for ViCi, simply because they could do what they're trying to do right now. They could gather up, use a smoke, and then just go into the enemy jungle. Between the Sand King as well as a Skywrath Mage, you essentially burst anybody down on NewBee side. Between a Burrow Strike, Ancient Steel, and Mystic Flare, it doesn't matter who you are.
Oh, they smoked underneath the Observer Ward. The Dire Observer Ward would have caught the edge of that. I don't know if they saw the heroes exactly, but they definitely saw the movement coming towards bottom lane, and NewBee are baiting. They got Xiao 8, who's the only man visible on this bottom lane, but look where we've got the movement. Moo's sitting inside the tree lines, Sunshine's behind, now Xiao 8, there's the Observer Ward, and they'll see him. Blink, Burrow Strike, they're looking like actually he got Moo again! Moo can't go for the split, they need to pull him off before he splits, and he got the split off! Super's in trouble, he's already used the mech, he's down ROTK, the Vortex has caught him in the tree line, he'll TP himself out to safety, nothing can stop that one. He goes all the way back to base, Skywrath, up and towards the air by the Brewmaster Robin. Hal in the meantime diving after Fenrir. Sunshine, he's in trouble. Actually, no, he's not. He's just walking up to the tower. Steeled on, not the Skywrath base. Burrow Strike from Fenrir. The Concoction will follow him. The Southern Fortune Fisher pulls him out and stands on move. Waveform out from Sylar. Picks up the Brewmaster. Fenrir still going to die for the cause. 10-5. Burrow Strike. He turns in for it. The Prophet Ultimate picks up the Ancient Apparition as well.
Sylar's still alive. He's got the waveform shit. He needs it, but he's kind of surrounded from all sides. He needs teleport support from the rest of his team. Skyrage Mage is back in 1 second. Prophet could TP very soon as well.
Bottom tower is
he going to go for the kill? They're going for Xiao 8. Xiao 8, whoa.
Well, they know they can't kill off Hal because he's just going to move around them. But then again, Hal is really, really low as far as mana goes. And now the waveform. They waited until he came out the seal. It's not enough damage. Time lapse. He comes straight back into it though.
Why he's trying to run away, but the big dog! Shansheng!
This is problematic. Waveform, Sunshine's in a little bit of trouble. Sylar actually being stomped up for the moment. Not up. He's got 11 1 charges. He just needs 3 seconds, but Super snipes him from inside the tree line.
It's about the objective. NewBee are diving the enemy jungle, but the tier 1 tower was for the picking.
Yep.
Both teams, well actually when I say both teams, I just mean NewBees. NewBee, they don't really push that well without items. They don't have right-click heroes too much. I mean, Hal in theory right-clicks, but you know, for what, 100 damage? They need better push, and I like to see them focus more on these tier 1 towers. It's nice to get kills.
Oh, Prophet, RTK is the courier. Chesty knows it's there, but then again, he flinched, moves, jumps in, where's the stun?
He's gonna die!
He shatters in base!
No regen. Now when the Ice Blast is on your face. Great play.
How quick was that response from NewBee? The second they realized he was there, it looked like Chesty kind of like, he wasn't sure if he wanted to move in or out. And then it's just like, well, they just probably stuck around just a fraction too long because it's like, oh, maybe I can still get this guy. And that is where the downfall comes.
Looks like we're going to see a big deviation in terms of items. Sylar normally loves that Lincoln Sphere this game, going straight for a Black King bar. We haven't seen this build from, I want to say, Morphlings for quite a while. It was a very popular build 1 or 2 years ago. Basically, you get the BKB and you just fight 25 minutes in the game, and it seems like he's forced to get this item. There's so much burst damage on the enemy side that, you know, you just have to take that fight. NewBee, though, looking at different objectives, straight to Roche.
Yeah, and they can do this one pretty quickly. You've got the Medallion from the Alchemist, has the Fresh Battle come on cooldown as well, so they'll have that available, and RTK's in no position to come and fight this one. It's 10 seconds till that his own TP. The Observer Ward does go down, and they'll see Weaver as the Aegis the Immortal in his hands.
He needs it.
Oh, they need a D-Ward. Sandra Ward, Fenrir! Yes, he got himself another summon. Missing flag goes in the epicenter. Who's to evaporate right now? Stealed up so he couldn't get the split. Hal will get the kill on the Skywrath Mage, but Fenrir losing his life. Hal now going for a time lapse. The sentry ward isn't available anymore. Concoction from Xiao Wei trying to stop this Viper from attacking any further. While Hal, remember, he's stuck up this Aegis model, hunting RTK in the tree line. Dukes him up, dukes him down. Now they turn around. Hal, he gets the Fissure off. Maybe it's enough life points. It is RTK. One more attack from Hal. He takes him out. Banana, they're actually going to get attacked. Super. He's got up again by Xiao Wei. The single Concoction. Hal over towards the side. He's just sitting everywhere in this fight. But the kill goes to Xiao Wei. There's a Morphling Replicant running away. Echo Slam being used. Sylar, he wants to jump to the Replicant but doesn't have enough time. Another Concoction out from Xiao Wei. Able to secure the kill after what looked like a really great initiation from VG Gaming.
Hal teleports to the top lane with 160 health to farm. He's got to be careful because Prophet's back. No ultimate though for about 30 seconds. Brings me to the question, how do you stop Hal? He was in that fight with like 200 HP for all of it.
There's too many targets to silence. There's too many targets to silence, and they don't have enough like burst damage to kill them off because you throw all your burst damage to get through a 1700 life point Brewmaster.
Yeah, I also think that ViCi's Gaming's forte isn't at taking these fights. What they're really good at is initiating with a Burrow Strike, Ancient Seal, Mystic Flare. Get one kill and get back to farming.
Yes.
You don't want to take those chaotic fight in the jungle, but simply you don't have enough lockdown for Hal. You don't really have enough chaos control to deal with the Shaker, deal with the Brewmaster, and Xiao Wei on the Alchemist. So I feel like ViCi Gaming is trying to tackle NewBee where NewBee is at their strongest, which is these scrappy fights. And right now, that's the reason why they're behind 15 kills and a ton of gold, 75,000 gold lead for NewBee.
Yeah, and 15k on the experience as well. This is not the way VG Gaming have to continue to play if they want to try and win this game and be one victory away from taking out the International 4. And NewBee, they're grouping up. Again, they try and force the team fight. And again, Moo, he's sitting there with a level 2 split. He knows he's still got his ultimate.
Radiant's middle tower
The question is if he can use it or not, because RTK throws at his own ultimate. There's actually give him enough money to finish the Orchid now. So we have a secondary during the team fight. That Meg Charge, well, that just repaired all damage done by the Prophet ultimate. And the TP's coming to the bottom lane. It's going to be the Alchemist to defend the tier 2 tower here. But Sylar, he just wants to try and force into the tier 2 tower, force a little bit of harassment, maybe some reactions from NewBee at least to the bottom lane, to buy some more space for ROTK on the top lane, who, maybe this is now what VG Gaming do. They realize that the split push power of NewBee is quite poor. So what do? You have a Prophet and you have a Morphling. Oh wow, bottom lane, Xiao Wei. He's going to be committed, it's enough damage. They get the kill and they're out. Fenrir may not be so lucky. He's got Fox in the back of him. Move with a clap off target on that one. Didn't have enough damage. Sandstorm is there. There's your Burrow Strike down, but he can't blink away while the slug is on him. Using the Sandstorm for the Imbiss, but Hal is sticking along with him, and they will be able to pick up the kill here.
I think the Sand King should have used Sandstorm as soon as it came off cooldown because that will remove the bug, allowing you to essentially blink away if you ever get the blink off cooldown. Burrow Strike afterwards. But great chasing from Hal. And picks up yet another kill.
Top lane, Fidget was just used. RTK is trying to reach him.
I
thought for a moment he had the Orchid already on him, but it looked like he didn't.
Yeah, right now Shansheng is getting to his Blink Dagger. He will have it if he wants to wait for that. I think the key items are coming out from NewBee are just simply on a different tier. At this point, Hal is just going to pick up damage. Desolator is going to be done in 1,000 gold. I imagine that's going to be his item choice. Blink Dagger is going to be allowing Shansheng to fight much, much better. I'm surprised that Banana didn't go for an item like Aghanims to just increase your damage output and his survivability, but Force Staff is one of the best utility items in the entire game, so no surprise that he's going for one of the better support items, should he not buff up himself.
I'm wondering how long it's going to take before ROTK just tries to force something against the Weaver, because I really feel like Hal is got to be the main focus here. I know he's got Magus the Immortal, and you got to kill him twice over, but they need to kill this Weaver. He's out of control. His net worth is 11.6k right now. Compared to the highest over on VG Gaming, that's only 8,000. Hello, top lane. Blink in, Sunshine. Now Fenrir. The Skyrim's been done with Fenrir. Nice double Burrow Strike. He's still going to go down right now because the Ice Blast has already done some massive work. And when the follow-up's done from Alchemist, they pick up both heroes on the top and feed the BKB into Xiao Wei. While in middle lane, Hal's diving in ROTK. He doesn't have the Lincoln Sphere anymore. He's got a lot of damage, and now all the Orchid at a range creep. Hal's got just he's got a ticket to farm now, and maybe even farming up the hero. He's coming in for ROTK, and he wants him. There goes your bug up on top of the hill. It won't be able to latch on ROTK. Diving in so deep to the tier 3 tower, he can't see in. Has to time up himself back in towards the middle lane.
It's very low risk when the fact that you already used the Orchid. You could just go in, make that dive. Who's actually going to stop you? Skyrim Mage was dead just then, so
Courier Snipe moves on it, and he got it.
Bang.
Easily picked up.
ViCi Gaming can't be affording to make these type of mistakes. They don't have too much room for mistake. What I said earlier about Hao's inability to really push and punch towers, he'll soon be able to do so once Desolators. Once he's got Deso, he pushed towers very fast.
Radiant's
Should
bottom
also be
tower
flagging too.
is
That's the
under
second
attack.
courier death for the Radiant side within the last 10 minutes.
Yep. Which is a surprising stat, especially against a team that has a Nature's Prophet. Generally, Nature's Prophet is the one that's throwing couriers left and right.
Radiant's
Well, he
bottom
tried.
tower has
He
fallen.
definitely tried, and he definitely failed.
And Hao steals a pretty important stack, I want to say, away from ViCi Gaming. This is the advantage you get by playing this type of carry. You could go on the enemy side, not really worry about dying. Looks like his age has just run out, so maybe he shouldn't play as aggressive anymore.
He just got himself a Desolator. I'm pretty sure he can still play aggressive. The amount of damage he's going to be pumping out up against his ViCi Gaming lineup is more than enough to rip him apart. Even with Super with his 16 armor, that Desolator is really going to stop that. And there's actually a large smoke movement coming out right now from
Radiant's
ViCi
bottom
Gaming. You've got to get the
tower
Blink
is under
Forest strike
attack.
right. Xiao Wei is the man on the front lines, but inside Chemical Rage, and that's a level 3 Chemical Rage. Keep this in mind that Xiao Wei is already so high up on the levels that he has that huge amount of regeneration. And there's no one on ViCi Gaming that has a high enough amount of damage output to do that. In the meantime, Nature's Prophet actually dies on the top
Dire's
lane to
top
Sunshine.
tower is
And
under
I'm
attack.
still waiting for this initiation of bottom lane. Sentry wards are down, but the SK, he's too far back. He's not in the front lines. They will not be able to catch out NewBee, and Prophet dead in the top lane to an Earthshaker.
Something what we saw last game is that Acid Spray cancels Blink Daggers, and Finner wasn't able to get nearly close enough to Blink Burrow Strike, which is, again, is their initiation. In fact, NewBee coming back in, they want to fight.
He has to BKB himself up right now. He's looking for FY. They want to take away this steal, but he's under the cover of BKB. The bug should get a finish his job right now, while Sylar getting torn apart by Hao. He moved over. GG! 26 minutes in. NewBee have too much control. ViCi Gaming. They didn't even lose the tier 2 town before they made the call, but they realized resistance is futile in this game. And NewBee will level up the grand final of 1 game apiece.
To me, this is a series of supports. If FY gets going, they're going to do a lot better. If Banana gets going, then the other team's going to do well. So I think they should focus very much so on the lanes and the supports.
And it's worked for NewBee in this game.